Could you share more about how you maintain your fitness routine and healthy habits doing slow travel?
I love this question. So the viewer who asked this, thank you.
Hi, we are Sean and Tina. We retired early, sold almost everything, and now traveling the world full time. We will show you how you can live abroad comfortably on $2,500 a month with real budgets, tips, and destinations that can make retirement affordable and exciting. So, hit that subscribe button and see how you can retire sooner, travel longer, and live more. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, welcome, and to our current subscribers, we want to welcome you back as well. So, we've been traveling now for a little while, and we get asked a lot of questions pertaining to travel. So in today's video, we're going to share with you some of those questions that we get, and hopefully we can get those answered for you today.
All right, so our first question. Do each of you check or travel with one or two large suitcases along with a carry-on and a backpack?
So we both each have a backpack that we carry, and we also have two luggage roll bags. Sean has one and I have one.
Yeah, so basically just 2 bags apiece, and that does the trick for us.
The next question is, what do you use for Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so we travel with a small travel router, and what we do is we use that to kind of help us connect all of our devices. The way we set it up is we connected everything to our travel router before we left home. So when we arrive to our destination, first thing I do is I set up our travel router and connect it to the local Wi-Fi, whether it be the hotel or the Airbnb that we're going to be staying in. Once the router gets set up, then all of our devices, electronic devices, our laptops, our cell phones, our Fire Stick, it all connects to the router. So it's super convenient, it makes it easy to set up. So that's kind of our strategy on how we set up Wi-Fi. Next question. How are you dealing with your visa stay? Do you leave every 90 days? What is the sweet spot for you in terms of how long you stay in a place?
So when it comes to visas, we normally stay in a country for as long as the visa allows us to stay. So for example, if Vietnam, for example, 90 days. So we would normally only stay the 90 days that's required. If we realize we need to stay longer, I'm sure we could probably do a visa run, which that's something we haven't done yet, but we know that can be done. But we normally just stay the amount of time of the visa.
Yeah.
The next question is, how do you include your flight cost? And do you have a separate budget for expenses?
Yeah, so for our flight costs, we actually kind of divide it up. So the cost for leaving and returning to the United States, that has its own separate budget. So that amount is separate. And then we have in our just regular $2,500 a month budget, we use that money to cover costs of travel like within the country. So for example, when we were in Vietnam, we traveled from Ho Chi Minh City to Nha Trang. So those tickets from Ho Chi Minh to Nha Trang, those came out of our $2,500 a month budget. Next question. Have you guys found a way to avoid or minimize those ATM fees when you are traveling? We get this question a lot.
So ATM fees, I know that, like Sean said, the question comes up a lot. But what we have found is once we get to our destination, we'll go to the ATM once we land, and then we may go one more time. So really, you're only looking at either 1 or 2 times during your monthly. This is based on a 28 to 30 day stay.
Right.
You're not going to the ATM every day because you have your credit cards that you'll use or your debit card that you'll use. So our ATM costs stay really, really low because we're usually only using it 1 to 2 times.
Right. Yeah. Good question, though.
So, next question from a viewer is actually, this one is directed to Sean. Have you been to the barber in any of these cities?
Yeah, so first of all, I typically cut my own hair, but occasionally I do, want to see how the local barbers operate. And yes, I have been to a local barber. I want to say in Da Nang. I did go to a barber. Guy was super professional. I've just found him on Google Maps. I just did a search for barbers near me. And Tina and I walked down. He took care of me, and I was very pleased with the service overall. So yes, you shouldn't, if you're looking for barbers, you should not have any trouble finding a barber. Tina, this question is for you. Any hair products, or do you carry your own?
That is a great question. And from my research, being in Vietnam, I do carry my own products. I have had to go out to look for products, which I found to be a little difficult for the African American hair that I have. So yes, I do carry those with me, and I try to kind of rationalize them out. But for the most part, yes, I do pack those. All right, so the next question we have is, could you share more about how you maintain your fitness routine and healthy habits doing slow travel?
I love this question. So the viewer who asked this, thank you. So when we're planning out our travel, once Tina locates accommodations that she thinks will be, okay for us, I go to Google Maps and I look for gyms that are in the area. That's if we're staying in an Airbnb. Obviously, if we're staying with a hotel, we have a gym. So we always are gonna have access to a gym. Now, that being said, once we get to our destination, we typically work out at least 5 days a week. So that's like, for those of you who are still working, that's like our morning meeting. We wake up, get dressed, head to the gym. On that 6th day, that kind of varies. Sometimes we'll go to the gym, sometimes we'll take the day off. If we're in areas, especially with beaches, we like to do walks on Saturday. So if we'll work out 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday, which is optional, we'll do a 3-mile walk. So health for us is really important. Obviously, we want to be able to maintain our health so we can travel a lot longer. And that is kind of how we keep our routine. So, great question. Let's see, next. How long do you think you will want to slow travel, Tina?
Well, I think that would actually be a question for both of us. We have had this discussion, and we just want to travel for as long as our health will allow us, and that is why we, in the previous question, try to make sure that we get our exercise in. So right now, if we had to put a time limit on it, we'll at least say now for the first 5 years.
Yeah, easy. I think easy 5 years at this point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the next question from my viewer is, how do you intend to fund your living cost once slow travel is no longer an option?
So that's a great question. Obviously, that will require, it would depend on where we decide to land to make our home base. If you followed us for a while, you'll know that we're from Mississippi. Now, we have 2 daughters, our oldest and our middle child. They're both girls. They live in Texas. They've informally informed us that they have no plans to return to Mississippi, and if we want to be by the grandkids, we might want to consider coming where they are. I'm sure you grandparents can relate to that. So right now, we don't know exactly where we'll land. We do have monies that we set aside from the sale of our house and some other funds that we accumulated for us to purchase something when the time comes, but right now, we really don't know. All right, let's see, next question. Do you deal with friends and family who are haters because of your ability to live this kind of lifestyle? If so, how do you deal with that mentally and relationally?
Well,
before Tina starts, we actually did a whole video about this very topic. Yeah.
Yes, and my suggestion, I'll be very brief on this, and you can go back and watch that previous video. But, you know, we just dealt with the questions from our family as they came. You know, we tried to put ourselves in their situation, you know, just to make sure that we kept the conversation very mild. But if you are interested in that, please check out our video on that.
Yeah, we'll put a link in the video description so you can go check it out.
Okay, so the next question is, why you guys almost sell everything, and what was the purpose behind that?
Yeah, so once we decided that this was going to be the lifestyle we were interested in doing, we felt like it was just going to be best for us to sell everything to reduce our obligations. Mm-hmm. You know, some people thought we might just rent our house. We dealt with rental property, and that was something that we just weren't prepared to have to deal with. So we felt like in our situation, it was going to be best for us to get rid of everything, minimize our costs and our obligations for monies that we would have to spend while we were traveling. And then once we returned and decided to settle down, we felt like anything that we had sold in the past, we could just buy it and start over. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Okay, this is from another viewer, obviously. Were any of these vaccinations mandatory to enter the country?
So when we started out traveling, we did get some vaccinations. They are not required,
right,
but we wanted to make sure that we protected ourselves. So we did go to an infectious disease doctor that we have here at home, and we kind of told them where we were going, and they suggested vaccinations that they gave us. We could choose from what we wanted to take, and we did that. Now, once we traveling like we are, if there's anything that we need, surely we won't come back home for it. We can just get those done in the countries where we are. So the answer to your question, no, they were not required, but you know, for us, that's something we wanted to do to protect ourselves.
Yeah, one thing I'll add, this is going to be a personal choice for everybody who travels. And the one big thing to remember is vaccinations will not be covered by your insurance, and some of them are very expensive. So just be aware of that. You know, obviously for us, we felt like the cost was worth us having peace of mind that we were gonna, you know, at least give ourselves a better chance, you know, of dealing with any illness that we might get, you know, by some mosquito bite in some remote location.
Okay, the next question. How were you able to get breakfast included when booking hotel stays using points?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. This is really Tina's area of expertise.
Okay, I can answer it.
Yeah, why don't you answer that one?
Okay, so breakfast was included with our hotel stay. And most of the time, first of all, you can book a room at hotels if they have the option, and your breakfast can be included. So that's one way. Or you can work on getting your status with your particular hotel chain as well. That is what we did since we do travel and we stay in hotels. So with that being said, that is how our breakfast was included with our stay.
Yeah.
Let's see the next question. Okay, did you travel with a group?
Yeah, so for the most part, we just travel as a couple. Now, our very first trip this year was actually a meetup with our Grounded Life retirement community. So although we didn't travel as a group, we did have a meetup in Da Nang, Vietnam. Now, what the funny thing about it is at one of our connections, we met some people. Obviously, we knew we were all Americans, so we started to talk, and it turns out they were also part of our Grounded Life community. So I think it was about 5 of us, because it was the 2 of us, and then I think it was 3 more that we connected.
In the airport?
Yeah, in the airport.
Yes, we sure did.
Yeah, so, but generally speaking, no, it's just the 2 of us when we travel, so that's how we roll. All right, do you make your flight and accommodations on your own?
The answer to that question is yes. It does take a lot of research. Now, with my previous employer, I was used to doing flights and accommodations, so for me, it did come easy to do. But I just kind of go to different airlines. There's a whole lot of sites that you can go to for flights. I tend to go straight to the airline. That is what makes me comfortable doing. And accommodations is either Airbnb or hotels. There's a lot of Airbnb website out there as well. So I just use what was comfortable for me. And yes, we do make those on our own. The next question is, do you have any concerns with, this is a great question, any concerns with capital gains with the sale of your home?
Yeah, so this is gonna vary by city and state, well, obviously by state. In our situation, we had been in our home long enough that we avoided capital gains. So my advice, or our advice, would be look up the laws, the tax laws in your state if you're planning on selling your primary residence, and understand what those are before you sell. In our situation, it did not affect us, so we were good to go. Next one. With Google Voice and Airalo as the providers for your phone, from whom do you get the actual physical phone itself, or do you just buy an unlocked phone? That's honestly my area, so I'll answer that. So yes, we did purchase unlocked phones from Airbnb. Actually, I bought Airbnb from Amazon. I purchased mine from Amazon. Tina, we actually purchased hers from Apple.
Yeah,
from the
the
Apple
store.
Yeah, but the key is the phones need to be unlocked. If you got that covered, then you won't have any issues.
Yeah, and what he means by unlocked is basically the phone needs to be paid for. You don't owe anything on the phone. You're not making any type of monthly payments.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Let's see, next question. Do you have expenses to pay back home in addition to your travel budget?
Yes, the answer would be yes. We do have a few small expenses, and that we do not include that in our travel budget, of course.
That's correct.
But it is life insurance, and we did decide to keep one vehicle
Yeah.
So we do have insurance on that vehicle, but other than that, that's all we have.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question from one of our viewers is, have you been able to pick up any phrases in Vietnamese, and or have you been able to communicate with the local population?
Yeah, so we have been able to pick up some phrases. The main two I can think of is Xin Chào, which is hello or good morning. We use that quite frequently.
Yes.
And Come on, which is thank you. And I think, you know, any country that you visit, we think it's important to embrace the culture as well as the language. And people, you know, they really respond to you much better when you're attempting to speak the language. So we've made it a point to try to do that in the countries we visit.
Yes, and you know, we also want to recommend Google Translate is what we use too when we
Absolutely.
since we don't speak fluent Vietnamese, and it works out really well.
Right. Yeah. Next question. Do you find churches to visit each Sunday?
Okay, so considering that Sean is the one that does our Google Maps, I'm gonna let him answer that question.
So again, when we're making our plans, I use Google Maps once we decide on our accommodations to locate churches near our accommodations. I primarily seek out English-speaking mass, so that gives us a little more comfort going. And what we found is by attending those English-speaking masses, a lot of times we meet expats, which has worked out great for us. So the answer to that question is yes, we do seek out churches wherever we travel to, and it's been a game changer for us as far as finding people to connect with once we get into those cities. The last question.
Why do you want to travel out of the country and not in the U.S.?
You want to answer that?
Well, my first response would be traveling out of the country. What we have found and what actually took us out of the country was the cost of living.
Right.
That is the number one thing that you just can't beat. The cost of living, just a healthier lifestyle, and also out of the country gives us the opportunity, like Sean said a few minutes ago, to just learn new cultures. And since we're retired, it just really gives us something to do and to look forward to and to learn.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with all of that. So yeah. So that wraps up our Q&A for this video. And again, we want to thank all of our viewers for submitting the questions in our comments. We love answering questions, and I think other viewers that come to our channel can see you guys' questions, and they can learn something too. You know, this was for us, this was all about, starting this channel was about, you know, letting people know what this type of lifestyle is like, you know, and hopefully we can inspire other people to do it. And those people who are coming to this channel, they may have similar questions, and I think asking questions and us answering them, and then you guys, we even have viewers that answer some of these questions. I think it helps everyone get a better understanding of what to expect if they're thinking about trying this type of lifestyle.
So, if you have any comments or questions that we did not answer today, please drop them in the comments below.
Yes, we definitely appreciate it, and I love looking at the comments. That's what I do first thing every morning.
And guys, if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. It costs nothing to subscribe to our channel, and it will also help us to know that you want to continue to receive information like this, and also just join us on our travel journey. Until the next time,
Thanks for watching.
thanks for watching.